Beloved, if this video has reached you, it is not by chance. You searched for it with your soul, not with your eyes. What you are about to hear was hidden for centuries, because it transforms. If you feel a tingling, a calling, a vibration in your chest, stay. Because in the next few minutes, you could awaken something dormant within you. Subscribe now, comment, "I am the miracle," and open the door to a completely new reality. This ritual is not entertainment. It is a key. Are you ready to turn it? The reunion with an ancestral secret. Imagine for a moment that the power to alter reality lies latent within you. A power that, beyond conventional science, relates to the divine essence dwelling in every human being. A spiritual fire as ancient as the universe itself, guarded in remote temples and sealed books, forbidden out of secular fears and interests. Today, that knowledge which seemed lost resurfaces before you to remind you that you carry within you the spark capable of igniting miracles. In these pages, you will discover how Jesus and Saint Germain used the violet flame to heal illnesses, transform impossible situations, and prolong life. It is not a fantastic tale, but a compendium of teachings that fuse the mystical with the quantum, offering you the opportunity to explore and manifest your own creative potential. The secret does not lie in superstition, but in faith and in understanding universal laws that transcend appearances. This text does not seek to force you to believe, but to open a door in your heart. You will feel an inner force whispering, "There is something greater than what you have imagined so far." If your spirit trembles at that possibility, it means you are ready to embark on this journey. Only those who have the courage to accept their divine heritage can receive these teachings with the depth they deserve. Jesus and Saint Germain, two masters, one flame. The official story portrays Jesus as the great master of compassion and Saint Germain as an enigmatic, immortal alchemist, but rarely does it delve into the energetic bond they shared. In different eras, they incarnated and demonstrated that the divine law does not belong to just one tradition, but is the heritage of all humankind. Both understood the quantum nature of faith and the powerful force of the spoken word. Jesus multiplied loaves and fish, calmed storms, and healed the incurable. Saint Germain showed that spiritual alchemy is real, turning metals into gold and preventing old age from overpowering his vitality. Are these wonders inexplicable phenomena, or rather manifestations of a sacred science unknown to most? Their common denominator is the violet flame, that purifying vibration that links humankind to the Creator Source. For many, the feats of these masters became myths or untouchable dogmas. However, behind these accounts lie concrete principles: the word spoken with faith, visualization directed with love, and the absolute certainty that matter obeys consciousness. You will discover in these pages that such consciousness is not a privilege of a few enlightened ones, but a seed present in your own soul. The violet flame and its mysterious origin. There are references in ancient Sumerian tablets and Egyptian texts describing a transforming light that does not burn the flesh but purifies the spirit. Over the centuries, this light came to be known as the violet flame. For some, it was a mere symbol. For others, it was the inner fire of divinity ready to manifest in the earthly plane. Although miraculous properties are attributed to it, its essence is purely energetic. This flame, invisible to the physical eye, acts in subtle dimensions where the threads of the reality we perceive are woven. Jesus used it to restore health to those who had lost all hope, and Saint Germain applied it in alchemical practices to accelerate spiritual evolution. The common denominator is transmutation. That which is stuck in a dense vibration is raised to a higher frequency, dissolving blockages and allowing grace to flow. The violet flame is also associated with Christic consciousness, a universal force of unconditional love. This state of consciousness goes beyond any religion, representing the unification of our being with the divine mind. By aligning with this energy, you begin to transcend mental and emotional limitations, discovering that what is considered a miracle is, in essence, a conscious application of universal laws. Quantum faith, the key to wonders. The expression quantum faith may sound unusual, but it describes a reality that modern science is only beginning to glimpse. Particle physics teaches us that the observer influences what is observed. Similarly, focused faith is the force that reorganizes matter and probabilities in our favor. Jesus summed it up masterfully by saying, "Everything is possible for one who believes." The challenge lies in ensuring that such faith is not based on illusion, but on the deep conviction that the violet flame and the sacred word have the power to transform. When Saint Germain spoke of transmuting lead into gold, he was not referring only to physical metals, but also to the internal process of turning our fears, guilt, and lack into wisdom, love, and prosperity. It all begins with the certainty that this transformation is real and can manifest here and now. Skepticism, on the other hand, acts like a wall. Constant doubts close off the field of possibilities, preventing divine energy from flowing freely. That is why quantum faith requires mental discipline, repeating decrees, sustaining visualizations, and persisting even when results are not immediately visible. Although it may seem like stubbornness, it is really the sowing of trust that will bloom into visible miracles. Preparing the sacred space of the heart. To immerse yourself in the practice of healing in 7 minutes, you must first create a favorable environment. Find a quiet place and, if possible, connect with nature or a corner in your home where you can feel at peace. External stillness supports internal stillness, and in that quiet atmosphere, your mind becomes receptive to the divine fire you are about to invoke. Above all, remember that ancient traditions advise practicing in sync with the hours near dawn, between 5:17 and 5:43 in the morning. During that span, cosmic influences make it easier to open energetic portals. However, if your schedule prevents you from observing those exact times, at least choose a moment of the day when you can be alone, without interruptions. The key is inner coherence. If your heart is willing, the violet flame will respond to your call. Close your eyes and regulate your breathing. Inhale for 7 seconds, hold for another 7, and exhale for 7. Repeat this pattern at least 3 times. Feel how with each inhalation, you bring light into your cells, and with each exhalation, you release tension and unnecessary thoughts. Finally, visualize a fine thread of diamond light rising from the base of your spine to connect with the universal source. Allow that connection to fill you with serenity and prepare you for the ritual to follow. Calling the violet flame, the fire that purifies. The violet flame is not an abstract concept, but a spiritual reality you can feel. Imagine an intense violet flame emerging in your solar plexus and expanding throughout your body. Unlike ordinary fire, this flame does not burn or destroy. Its warmth is gentle and full of compassion, dissolving the knots that obstruct your well-being. At this moment, invoke the sacred name Yod-He-Vav-He softly or mentally, repeating it at least 3 times. Each syllable is an ancestral code that, over millennia, has been associated with the power of creation. When you speak it, the veils of your consciousness loosen, and the violet flame intensifies, igniting your spirit with a higher vibration. Now rub your hands vigorously 7 times, feeling a tingling or growing warmth in your palms. Carefully place your hands over the part of your body where you feel pain or, if it's an emotional issue, place them over your heart. Remain in that position, sensing how the violet energy flows from your hands into the area you want to heal, changing density into lightness and trust. Sealing the miracle with sacred words. The next step is essential to make the transformation endure. The sealing of the miracle. Take your right thumb and kiss it with devotion, as if recognizing the divine part dwelling in you. Then gently press it against your forehead, exactly where your third eye is located, the epicenter of inner vision and intuition. As you do this, repeat inwardly, K Ristos Nova, K Ristos Nova, K Ristos Nova. This is a powerful decree that fuses the Christic energy with your personal reality. Saint Germain taught that in this way the quantum gate opens so that the violet flame, already active within you, can crystallize in the physical plane. Next, express a gesture of gratitude. You could say, "Thank you, Cosmic Father/Mother. Thank you, Violet Flame. Thank you, life within me." Feel the entire universe respond, acknowledging your dedication and returning multiplied light to you. This brief but intense sequence of steps constitutes your 7-minute healing ritual, capable of unleashing significant changes in your body, your mind, and your circumstances. Discover the 3 mistakes that sabotage your decrees. Although the practice is simple, certain factors can block or delay the manifestation of your miracles. The first is haste. Performing the ritual at any time, without proper mental preparation, scatters the energy. Even though mourning is recommended, if your conditions differ, what matters is that your heart be present and your mind be serene. Skipping these requirements turns a sacred experience into a mere mechanical act. The second mistake is immediate doubt. After finishing the ritual, many people start questioning, will it work? Might it just be suggestion? That uncertainty is like placing a wall before the door you just opened. To counteract this, repeat the sound VO in your mind whenever skepticism assails you. Thus you restore your connection with the violet flame and remain open to the impossible. The third mistake is remaining completely silent about the experience. Although there is a saying that goes, "Miracles should not be shared," ancestral wisdom indicates you should share with at least one trusted person what you have experienced. This confession strengthens the vibrational field of the miracle, as if giving it oxygen so the flame continues burning. Keeping total silence creates a void in which the energy can dissipate. The express ritual for emergency moments. If you feel a sense of urgency and do not have 7 minutes to complete the full procedure, there is a quick yet powerful method. Clench your left fist, imagining you hold a diamond that concentrates all your vital energy. Gently bite the tip of your tongue to activate an energetic circuit connected to willpower. Then turn around 3 times clockwise, mentally decreeing, "I am the miracle," each time you complete a turn. When you finish, observe if you feel heat in your palms or tingling in your fingers. That sensation is often confirmation that the violet flame has responded and you have sealed a lightning-fast commitment with the divine. Do not confuse this express exercise with the detailed healing ritual. One is a shortcut for times of pressure, the other is a deeper, longer-term process. However, both draw on the same principle. The certainty that the power to transmute reality is not outside you, but within, waiting for your signal to manifest. Why this truth was suppressed for centuries. History shows evidence that knowledge about the violet flame and the science of miracles has been, in many periods, persecuted and silenced. Religious and political authorities saw in these teachings an emancipatory potential that eluded their control. If human beings discovered they could heal and transform without intermediaries, the power of those elites would be threatened. For that reason, Jesus was seen as a revolutionary and persecuted by the religious structures of his time. Saint Germain, surrounded by mystery, was misunderstood and even labeled a charlatan by royal courts and circles that could not accept the possibility of a life transcending the barriers of time. Nevertheless, truth always reemerges, like grass that grows even between the cracks of a rock. Today, the scientific community timidly explores the effect of intention on matter, studying phenomena of prayer, meditation, and energetic healing. While not everyone openly accepts the existence of the violet flame, Each new discovery suggests that reality is much more malleable than previously thought. Humanity is ready to integrate what once was considered miraculous into the modern understanding of life. The liberating power of forgiveness. In the practice of the violet flame, forgiveness plays a crucial role. When we harbor resentment or guilt, our vibration lowers, creating density that prevents the free flow of grace. Jesus repeatedly stressed the importance of forgiveness, inviting his disciples to forgive even 70 times 7, because he understood that each grudge chains human beings to stagnant realities. Saint Germain also emphasized the need to free oneself from emotional burdens. The violet flame acts most powerfully when the heart is at peace, with no bitterness to contaminate it. Therefore, before performing the ritual, it is worthwhile to recognize anyone you still haven't forgiven, whether someone else or yourself. Visualize that person or situation in the midst of the violet light and say, "I release you, I release me. I allow grace to transform this energy." Forgiveness does not justify harm or injustice, but heals the one who forgives. By forgiving, you let go of the anger and pain you have been holding, making space for the violet flame to flood every corner of your being. Only then do miracles integrate, for unconditional love becomes the foundation on which transmutation operates. The Word as a source of creation. Ancient scriptures state that the universe was conceived through the Word. In the beginning was the Word, some sacred texts emphasize. The essence of this message is that words do not merely communicate ideas. They possess a vibration capable of shaping realities. When you speak a decree charged with faith, you emit energetic waves that reconfigure your circumstances. If after a healing ritual with the violet flame you fall back into disheartening expressions, you create dissonance that weakens the manifestation. Your inner discourse, as well as what you say to others, must align with the vibration you seek to sustain. Instead of saying, "I'm sick," or "I never get out of this situation," try affirmations like, "I'm in the process of healing," or "Every day, I'm closer to victory." The spoken or thought word is the magic wand of creation. Therefore, guard it carefully. Turn your language into a vehicle of light, gratitude, and affirmation of well-being. Notice how the clouds of negativity clear away when you transform your way of speaking, aligning it with the violet flame already dwelling in you. Radionic table. An amplifier of frequencies. A radionic table is a device that, from a mystical perspective, acts as a bridge between human intention and the subtle energies of the universe. Contrary to what many believe, it is not a magical object, but rather a resonance tool that uses symbols and sacred geometry to channel specific frequencies. When Saint Germain used a radionic table in his alchemical experiments, he sought to enhance the vibration generated by his decrees and visualizations. By placing on it the representation of a purpose, for example, healing a financial situation, the table focused attention and concentrated the force of the violet flame on that objective, intensifying the transmutation process. If you wish to explore this resource, remember it does not replace your inner power but reinforces it. You must not fall into the illusion that the table does all the work for you, for consciousness and faith remain the main ingredients. However, for those who feel drawn to symbols and energetic alignment, the radionic table can become a valuable ally, adding harmony and precision to your spiritual practice. The responsibility of exercising your divine power. As you approach the violet flame, it is natural to feel enthusiasm at the possibilities that open up, but you must also be aware of the responsibility it entails. Jesus and Saint Germain did not boast of their abilities. They exercised them with love and service. Your intention in practicing this sacred science must be alignment with the highest good, avoiding the temptation to use power for ego-driven whims. The physical body and the emotional field require constant care so that divine energy can flow unhindered. Observe your daily habits, from nutrition to how you manage stress. Practicing the violet flame demands integrity, as every choice you make can amplify or diminish the vibration you wish to maintain. Additionally, this responsibility includes confronting personal shadows, envy, fear, insecurities. The violet flame can bring to the surface whatever needs to be transmuted. Do not fear this process. It is the inevitable step toward purification. Gradually, your life becomes a testimony of coherence, and your very presence radiates the peace and strength that come from a purified heart. The dark night of the soul, a leap toward the light. The path of transmutation is not free of trials. The dark night of the soul is the term many mystics use to describe the period in which old patterns emerge, causing confusion, pain, or despair. Far from being a punishment, it is an opportunity to see more clearly what has been repressed and needs healing. It is possible that after starting your practice with the violet flame, you may experience emotional swings or external situations that challenge your patience and faith. However, remember that like gold subjected to fire to remove impurities, you too are being refined. Each layer of darkness that is released gives way to a brighter inner light. Seek support from people who understand your spiritual quest. Join meditation groups or pursue training in disciplines that help you manage your emotions maturely. With perseverance and humility, you will understand that this period of apparent chaos is actually the threshold of a deeper awakening. The violet flame accompanies you during that transition, reminding you that behind every shadow lies a lesson. Quantum visualization and prior gratitude. One of the most powerful secrets Jesus and Saint Germain shared is the power of quantum visualization accompanied by gratitude. The moment you set out to envision in your mind the reality you long for, you are planting seeds in the quantum field. Add to this practice an attitude of preemptive thankfulness, as if the desired result were already unfolding. When Jesus multiplied the loaves and fish, he first gave thanks to the source, even without having physical abundance in his hands. This action is an act of pure faith that opens the gates of divine provision. In the same way, when you use the violet flame for a specific purpose, feel yourself already blessed and declare, "Thank you, universe, for manifesting my healing, my prosperity, my harmony." This preemptive gratitude is not a mental game, but a tangible energy that synchronizes your vibration with the reality you desire. By sincerely feeling that your request is already fulfilled, you narrow the gap between desire and manifestation, allowing the miracle to emerge more readily. Extending your light to others. What happens when you do not only seek your own well-being, but also become a channel of blessings for your environment? Jesus and Saint Germain did not limit themselves to healing their own lives. They extended that power to humanity. You too can direct the violet flame toward your loved ones, neighbors, or even toward areas of the planet experiencing conflict or calamities. To do this, simply close your eyes and envision the person or place bathed in a violet glow. Mentally declare, "May the light of the violet flame flood everything and everyone, transmuting any negative energy into love and harmony." It is not your role to impose changes on another's free will, but to offer an elevated vibration that, if they accept it, can have a beneficial influence on their circumstances. This act of solidarity amplifies the power of the violet flame. Shared love multiplies in the ether, and your own practice is strengthened. Saint Germain often emphasized that when two or more hearts unite with the same luminous intention, the result is exponentially enhanced, creating a healing network that can embrace all of humanity. Tuning in to Christic consciousness. Christic consciousness is not the exclusive heritage of any religion, but a state of being to which Jesus invited us. It is the experience of unconditional love, compassion, and unity with the all. Saint Germain also immersed himself in this frequency, understanding that everything in existence is interconnected by invisible threads of energy. When you practice the violet flame, you do not only seek personal benefits, but you also open yourself to the possibility of embodying that universal love. Living in Christic consciousness means seeing others as expressions of the same divinity within you, acting with empathy and kindness without expecting anything in return. When you establish this inner harmony, the barriers of time and space dissolve. Your intentions find a broader echo, and miracles become a natural part of daily life. You stop living from the ego to live from the soul, immersed in the certainty that, in each heartbeat, the very source of creation beats. Living spirituality in the material world. You may wonder how to balance the practice of the violet flame and the ideal of Christic consciousness with the demands of daily life. Not everyone is called to withdraw to a monastery or a remote refuge in the mountains. Jesus interacted with everyday people, ate at their tables, and shared in their joys and sorrows. Saint Germain moved in European courts, surrounded by luxury and earthly power. The real challenge is to remain connected to the divine in the midst of routine. Before starting your day, you can devote a few minutes to the 7-minute ritual, strengthening your energy field. Throughout the day, whenever you face a challenge, invoke the violet flame mentally, declaring, "I transmute this obstacle and transform it into learning." In this way, your everyday life becomes a spiritual laboratory, and every experience, whether positive or negative, becomes an opportunity for growth. You learn that there is no separation between the sacred and the profane, but a continuous dance in which divinity expresses its grace in every corner of existence. Developing subtle perception. With continued practice of the violet flame, you will notice a change in how you perceive your surroundings. Intuition becomes sharper. You sense people's and places' energies more easily, and you realize that your words have a more immediate impact on reality. These gifts are not mystical privileges but natural faculties of the awakened human being. However, a gift poorly managed can become a burden. If you feel overwhelmed by other people's negativity, visualize the violet flame surrounding you like a shield of light. Declare, "Nothing that does not come from love can penetrate this field." Over time, you will learn how to regulate the intensity of your sensitivity and use it to help others, without absorbing their problems as if they were your own. Humility is the antidote to spiritual arrogance. Rather than feeling superior because of your abilities, remember that you are a conduit serving universal grace. The violet flame has opened your eyes to a broader reality, and your task is to share that discovery with those who are ready to hear it, without imposing or judging. Practicing active love. The violet flame, in itself, is a manifestation of love. Healing, blessing, and protecting others are tangible expressions of that love in motion. But there are many everyday ways to practice compassion as well. A smile at a stranger, sincere advice to a troubled friend, a hug to someone who is suffering. These details may seem minor, yet they create waves of light in the collective energetic fabric. When you perform the 7-minute ritual, consider dedicating part of it to humanity. Envision the earth wrapped in the violet flame, purifying oceans, forests, and cities. Intend that this flame touch the hearts of all beings, fostering reconciliation and environmental awareness. It is your way of collaborating with the great planetary healing work that is so needed. Thus, your practice transcends the individual level and takes on a communal tone. The active love you radiate does not vanish into emptiness. It nourishes the entire living system of which you are a part. Saint Germain would have smiled to see how, in this century, ordinary men and women integrate his legacy to raise the world's frequency. Reinforcing your commitment. The 21-Day Challenge. To consolidate these teachings, I propose a challenge. For 21 consecutive days, practice the 7-minute healing ritual each morning, maintaining the discipline of breathing, invoking the violet flame, and doing the final sealing with the words Christos Nova. Keep a journal where you record your sensations, dreams, synchronicities, and any changes you notice in your body or circumstances. It may be difficult at first, or you may not notice significant results. However, perseverance is key. The seed of quantum faith requires a gestation period before it blooms. It is likely that over these 3 weeks, old emotions or memories needing transmutation will surface. Embrace that process as a sign that the ritual is working in the deepest layers of your being. At the end of the 21 days, review your notes. You may be surprised to find that certain problems feel lighter, that you have found creative solutions, or that your mood is more stable. Even if you do not notice major transformations, you will have laid a solid foundation for the violet flame to continue working in you. After all, every act of faith is a step toward mastering divine alchemy, acting in the world without losing the connection. It would be a mistake to view the violet flame practice as a refuge to escape reality. Jesus and Saint Germain showed that inner light grows stronger when we engage with the world. If you have an illness, consult the appropriate healthcare professional, but also dive into the ritual each morning, covering your body with the healing flame. If your problems are financial, seek advice and explore new opportunities while trusting that the violet flame guides you toward prosperity. This balance between the human and the divine is essential for the miracle to take root in everyday life. By recognizing yourself as a co-creator, you take your part in taking action and allow grace to do its part. As the violet flame becomes anchored in your heart, you will realize you are a piece in the great mosaic of creation, and that your labor, however modest, has a global impact. That is why you should keep the flame burning not only during your meditation time, but in every daily act. When you speak, when you work, when you interact with others, remember that divine fire dwells in you, ready to imprint love, order, and clarity on everything you do. How to go deeper on the path of transmutation. Once you have incorporated the 7-minute routine and experienced changes in your life, you may long to go further. There are many paths to deepen personal transmutation. You might learn sacred mantras, explore sacred geometry applied to your home, or delve more deeply into the teachings of Jesus and Saint Germain compiled in hermetic and esoteric texts. It is vital, however, to avoid scattering your energy. Focus on one system at a time, exploring it calmly and assimilating each new tool before moving to the next. Otherwise, you will end up gathering information without turning it into true wisdom. The violet flame calls for coherence, for the slow yet steady construction of a spiritual foundation that can transform your daily life. Remember that every practice must be lived with the heart. Do not accumulate techniques out of mere intellectual curiosity. Deepen your 7-minute ritual, perfect your connection with the violet flame, and then, when you feel solid, gradually incorporate other disciplines that resonate with your soul. Spiritual growth is an endless journey, an ascending spiral that brings you ever closer to your divine essence. The beginning of your new story of miracles. You have gone through 25 pages of knowledge that remained in the shadows for centuries. You have discovered that miracles are not the privilege of a few, but the innate right of every human being who awakens to their true nature. Jesus and Saint Germain embodied this potential to remind us that the key to change resides within. The 7-minute healing ritual, sustained by the violet flame, offers you the possibility of rewriting your story. Respect the time of day, invoke the flame with conviction, seal your miracle with the power of the Word, and above all, remain in an attitude of gratitude and openness. Avoid the 3 mistakes that hinder manifestation. Share your testimony with someone who understands you, and let the sacred fire expand. Now, the responsibility is yours. These lines mark a new starting point. If the fire of curiosity and faith continues burning within you, do not let it die out. Practice, experiment, and be a witness to how your reality aligns with the divine rhythm. In a few days, or perhaps a few weeks, you will notice signs that something has shifted deep within you. May every morning become a communion with the violet flame, and may every act of love you perform be a spark that lights up the lives of those around you. Thus, in the not-too-distant future, you will be able to say with conviction, I have verified my creative power, I have felt the divine hand in my life, and today, I am the living reflection of the violet flame in action. Wherever you go, carry this flame with you and ignite hearts, for that is the most noble and liberating mission. If you've felt chills, if your heart has beat differently, it is because what you have experienced is not fantasy, it is the beginning of your awakening. What you have just activated will continue expanding in the coming hours, days, and weeks. But don't do it alone. Join this community of awakened beings. Subscribe now, comment, I am light, and share this video with someone who needs a miracle. Because where you go, I am with you. And where the violet flame is lit, the miracle has already begun.